In this fairly involved movie, we're going to learn how to create a form on your web page and actually have it send information to your email address after it's been completed. We're going to use Dreamweaver for this. It does a lot of the work for us, so we'll use it just this time to show how to make a form. So I'm going to say File New, and I'm going to choose HTML, which is what you're used to. Now the way this works is it makes it easy. Over on the right, it's called the design view, and I can type in things here, and then on the left, it's going to show you the code for this. So I'm going to say, let's learn to create a form. And so what it's done is look to the left here. It's automatically given me a paragraph tag for that, and that's fine. But really, we're interested right now in learning how to do a form. So I'm going to come over to the design view. I'm clicking over here where I just typed that text, and I'm going to insert a form. And under insert, there's a form, and then you're going to see there's a whole bunch of choices here. Well, the first thing we need to do is tell it that it's going to actually be a form. And what happens now is it's drawn that little rectangle, and it's done a whole lot of stuff over to the left in the code view. But what we're going to do now is the most important part, is that we're going to say when we're using this form, and now I'm down in the properties window here, I'm going to say we are going to be calling a PHP file. Don't let that scare you. It's just a set of instructions in a particular computer language, and we'll talk about that more. And this is called form to email.php. And that file needs to be on the web server that you're going to use. And in this case, it's going to be right next to it. So we're not going to tell it to look in a folder. It's literally right next to this file we're going to make. And the method is going to be post. So we're leaving it as post. We're coming into a target and saying this. This is also new. Blank. That means it's going to open up a new window for you. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and let them have an area to insert their name. So I'm going to say form. Let's just go with the text field right here. Don't worry about the ID. The label, I'll just call it name. You'll see this in a minute. And everything there is fine, and I'm just going to say OK. So there it is, name, enter your name here. So this can be as simple as we want, but what I'm going to do now is give it a submit button, because naturally when you're done entering the information, you're used to seeing a submit button, and let's take a look at that. We're going to go insert, back to form, which is what we use all the time for the forms, and there is a button right there. Look at that, that's great. So now the only thing I need to do is click on the button here, and it's saying down below in the property windows that by default it's going to say submit, and I'll put the exclamation point here as well, and it's going to submit the form. So I could tell it to reset, which would wipe out all the values in there, and I'm going to hit submit form. And now I am going to just save that file right now. So I'm going to call this form3.html, and I'm going to have it on my desktop. So what I'm going to do now is in fetch. I've been practicing here, and you can see form 1, form 2, and now I just created form 3. All of them are calling this PHP script, and that's the key. So what I'm going to do now is get that file that I just created, and I'm going to hide all the others, and there is form 3, and I'm taking this file right here and I'm dragging it up to the web server. And now what I'm going to do is on the front end, and it's going to be 3. So let's see what it looks like. All right, it looks just like we expected. Now I probably don't want the submit button there. I'll look at that later and figure out why I did that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to enter in Newton North student, and it's been restricted to that size. I'm going to click on the submit button right now, and it runs that script, and look at that. It looks like it's successful, and it's saying thank you, your message has been sent. So we'll look in a minute. There's usually a little bit of a delay, and I expect to get that file sent to me by the PHP script that we'll talk about in a minute.